Welcome back to another episode Inside the Mill podcast. Coach Christian here, my main man Seth. And today we got a special episode. We're interviewing Jeff from the Vitality Mill. Jeff, 6 years, is that right? Since you've been with us?
6 years.
That's what I was trying to think, man. So 2020, right? Okay. Man, whenever you started, I think, I started a few months after you. Yeah. And I think the reason we clicked so much at first was just, our background in sports. And you played basketball. I played some basketball, but we both played college sports. And then you played some basketball up until you were 40?
Yes.
Church league, right?
Church league.
Yeah. So you were always an athletic guy. What was life looking like physically that made you finally walk through the doors with us? So going from an athlete and then to what got you into the doors at the Vitality Mill?
So like you said, I've always done athletic stuff, tried lifting since I was in college, done all the things, but it was couple years, about 3 years, I think, before I came to Vitality Mill, I was in a 3-car, pile up, little rear ending. And at first it didn't seem like much. I grew up on the farm, you just tough it through. But, about 3 months in, I started noticing like pain that just started getting worse and worse and worse. And ended up figuring out it was sciatica. And so I started doing all the things, making sure that I could go through a chiropractor, to a massage therapist, even had needling done. And nothing, it would be better for a day or two, but then nothing, like it was just constant pain all the time to the point where, I even had the nerves in my back cauterized at one point, and that did help, but it was still there. And my wife, there's a couple times, and I was trying to explain it to her one time. I mean, she was always checking on me, but she said, are you hurting today? One day she said, are you hurting today? And I said, well, honey, I hurt every day. It's just how bad is it hurting today? So,
Yeah.
And I realized at that point, I was just living with it all the time. And as an athlete, I wasn't able to do the things I had to do. I did martial arts. I had to stop the martial arts because the kicking and stuff was just too painful all the time. And it got to where I could kind of understand I definitely could understand. And I put those like major prescription pain pills away because I could see how people would get addicted.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted relief.
Yeah.
And I never got to this point, but I could empathize with people who sometimes live with pain so much that you just figured it'd be better not to even be living at the time because it hurt so much. And that's when at that time that I saw, I lived in the neighborhood like by time. I was driving by and I told David, I saw an ad that set it on Facebook. And then I was at home because it was COVID time. I said, can I try this, sweetheart? And I came and talked to you, Seth, and she said, let's give it a shot. And when I came in here, I was like, this is the last thing, or I'm going to have to find surgery or something because I can't live with this. So that's what brought me in the door.
So the first thing I'm hearing is, and this is the piece that holds a lot of people back, and it's what if I do studying, trying to figure out behaviors and why us crazy humans do the things we do, kind of a deal, right? And what I've started to come to realize is identity obviously means a lot. And so like your identity was as an athlete. That's how you always, and so like your stories and your beliefs are as an athlete, like you continue to try to find a way, try to push through, try to get something. And then I think so that's our stories and our beliefs. And then our stories and our beliefs, they start to create our actions. So from what we believe, we act on that. And so what I'm hearing you say is like that gives us, and then we get different results from our actions from there. And so if we reverse engineer that and you just change the actions, the difference between you is you and there's a lot of individuals that are in pain, that are struggling, and they submit as far as they tap out. They quit. Maybe they haven't been through pain before or physically. And so because they didn't play sports or whatever it may be. And they think that there's no other option. And so they quit on themselves. And you were, even with your identity of being an athlete, but you still were searching and still looking for something else. And so that's just huge as far as, it's frustrating for me because I see people every day. We just had a couple ladies walk in yesterday that were, 60, 70 years old. And that's what I was telling Christian is we work with individuals over 40. And as a 40, almost 5-year-old man, I think about the things I can do at 45. And then I think, where would I be at 60 or 70? And how would I be able to view myself? And I would look at like, well, at 40, 45, I could do that. And so like, we got to change our direction as far as going more towards the 60, 70-year-olds as well, because it's like life is short. And we get very many, we get one shot at this bad boy. It's not, we don't get very many. We just get one. And so I think that if one person, just like we were talking about out there today, if one person can hear that like, hey, I'm dealing with pain, but that doesn't mean, and through sports and through practices and through workouts, you push yourself and you kill yourself. When we get over 40, we don't have to do those things anymore to a place of, and that's where you've changed because you're back. You were I remember you coming in, it was very like, I got to watch my back. And then I watch you today go through like the overhead, the down and overheads. That's something that you have to think about, like, cause it's there, but at the same time, you're able to move and do things, deadlift, do things that you got a new lease on life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that was the thing. I think what a lot of people, when they get to that point where you, like we were talking about, you said the tap out or whatever it is, and I understand now is like, it's that hope is gone. You feel like there's no hope.
Yeah.
Like nothing's ever going to get better. This is just how it's always been.
And it won't if you just,
And you won't. If you're right. The tapping out actually feeds that.
Yeah.
Is like actually brings that to fruition.
Yeah.
But, cause I mean, and if anybody ever asks, it wasn't when I say it's not like this, somebody cut your leg off. That one is horrible.
Yeah.
This is like, I explained to somebody, if somebody started hitting you on the deal just like this, that's nothing for the first day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 year, 3 years. It's that Chinese torture. But the hope that when I came in, they're like, okay, that every time I started trying something new, it was like, okay, the hope that this is it. But then coming in here and you guys start working me.
And that's the other side of it is like, not only did you, like you were searching and looking for something. So you were open, your hands were open to go like, hey, I'm not going to hold on to that. This is my identities around. I'm going to be in pain the rest of my life. My hands, I'm going to release my grip off that. And so my hands can be open to something else, because the other side of it's done is it's like, you're a big piece of like our family. Like when Jeff comes in, he's wild enough to walk here for like, it don't matter if it's the snow's out and he's got coveralls on or overalls on, or however you say that. It might be the biscuit and whatever it is. But that side of it is like, you don't know how many other people that you've impacted through that, or what's going to happen through this podcast. But then the individuals inside the Vitality Mill that like, you can always, it's kind of like Norm and Cheers. Cheers was a show that was, and there's this Norm would walk in, and every time Norm would walk in, they're like, Norm. And that's kind of like what we've created with the Vitality Mill. Is the same thing with Jeff, is like when he's leaving, he's telling everybody bye and things like that. And so it's just powerful to think, what if you never stopped in? Where would you be? What if you do a lot of things with the band and helping with, and with the color guard, with helping with that side of it, and do things, and the things that you're pushing and doing things, that just imagine that those memories you don't get to have in your daughters, all your daughters.
Right. Yeah.
Where they could say like, that's my dad who leads all this. Yeah.
And that, of course, family was a great catalyst and wanting to find a solution.
Yeah.
That was my big thing, because I want to be the grandpa that gets down on the floor and plays with my kids. I want to be able to do the things.
Pick them up.
Yeah, I want to pick them up. I want to be involved in my girls' stuff, whatever they're doing. And you're right. I wouldn't have been able to do all the things I've done with them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you working out, being a, athlete most of your life, working out most of your life, it doesn't matter if I'm training a guy that just won a CrossFit competition and feels like he knows everything, or if it's a 70-year-old lady that can barely get out of her car. At the Vitality Mill, we take pride in starting everybody from the basics. If you can't squat with your body weight, then we're not going to give you a weight before you can squat. If your hips are tight, we're going to give you mobility. So we start everybody from the ground up to build a foundation. So take me through, you being an athlete, how elementary did that feel the first week of the things that we were doing? Was it hard to release that grip of like, okay, I'm going to trust them that they've got the plan?
Okay, I've always had an attitude of like, whether it's martial arts when I walked on a mat, or whether it's a gym I walk in, I have to remind myself to be humble.
Yeah.
Because there's people that always know more than I do. I can learn from people. I can learn from anybody, really, good or bad. I can learn from people. And so when I did come in, it was a little weird because, again, I've been lifting since college, just doing other stuff. Thought I knew. And so when you guys come in and start me with these light, tiny weights or no weights, and I'm having to do something, I'm like, swallow the pride at first, because it was like, I know how to do this, but I quickly learned I did not know how to do it correctly.
Yeah.
And doing it correctly makes all the difference. And I've been doing things that really just been damaging, I think, my joints over time, like whatever it is. And that's a beauty thing of what you guys do here. You're going to make sure that you guys make sure I had the right base first, because there's nothing to build on if you don't have the right base. So
yeah, no, that's the big piece. And plus you had Lino right when he got started. Like, so Lino was, I mean, we take it to, and we're serious about it. We started as a foundation, but that dude was like, he would not let you move forward unless you were moving the right way. He would pound it in your head over and over and over again.
Hips back out. And I'm like, I can't.
I don't understand what you say at first, and then
Once it clicked, like every time when you guys are showing me something
Yeah.
new, once at first it just feels something will feel awkward. Then
Yeah.
once it clicks, it's like,
and that's
You feel
that like over and over. We're going to do a hip.
that
Good morning.
Hinge,
Yeah.
good morning.
Yeah,
Well,
we're going
I
to do them over
start
and over again.
when I've helped any young kids ever talk, I see them starting to try something and they're doing it wrong. I'll walk over, I'm like, hey, come here. And I give them a band. This is even like kids in high school in our college group. I'm like, come here, and show them, like, just do these first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you were talking earlier about doing the overheads and
Yeah.
the deadlifts and stuff. But you said something about constant thought, and it is. I have to constantly be thinking, okay, make sure this is tight, core is tight, this is in.
The one time you don't, then that's what it could be.
But it's natural now to think those things and just do it. Yeah.
Jeff, working with us for a while and starting to build that base, build that foundation, what did it feel like when you finally started to realize my back doesn't hurt the way that it used to? Like when it clicked, I'm not in pain the way that I once was, where I would wake up and just not know what it's going to look like that day. What'd that feel like?
Well, and you guys can talk to Dr. Brown is one that he's a client here.
Mhm.
And he's one that I went to at the beginning. He's always been my doctor. And, and he had recommended coming into a finite place that does stuff. But I remember going into him, and I have a pain doctor and all this stuff, that I can remember the day though that you're talking about, where I just had the sudden realization as I was walking along. I was walking outside and I actually started to tear up. I went to Dana, my wife, and I said, I don't hurt today. She goes, oh, that's great. I said, no, you don't understand.
Mhm.
I said, now, I don't think it happened that day. I
Mhm.
think it had been happening. It had gotten so much better over time. Just that all of a sudden, one day I had the realization that I'm not hurting.
Yeah.
And that was just.
So last night I went and ran, and Christian knows I went and ran like 50 minutes yesterday, and I got done, and then my IT band starts, my heel starts to bother me, and I've just got all these, and I've got sciatica and stuff as well. And I got home and I was struggling. Courtney even saw me like, why are you limping like that? Are you limping? And cause I was hurting, but I went and got in the sauna, and once I got out, I was no pain in my knee, my leg felt great. And I started thinking it's that awareness. Once you become aware, like this is working, but so many people get so caught up on what the change looks like that they think it's a scale that goes down. But like once you start to become aware of, just like that workout in there, I popped off to Christian. Like you look at that workout, you can go like, that workout's going to be pretty tough. Like I do not want to do this on a Saturday morning. And then once you get into it and then you're doing it, and then like you're proving to yourself and your body's, from that work and all the stuff that you've done all throughout the years and the days and the weeks all starts to compile. And the next thing you know, it's like that awareness of like, man, I'm in great shape. And it's a lot of people, it might be, hey, I'm walking up the stairs and can't breathe afterwards, to where now they're able to do things. And so that awareness precedes change, but oftentimes we're not aware other than what that scale says. And that's the only way that anybody really measures and when it comes to fitness, measures their fitness.
One thing you were saying there, and I don't want anybody to be under the illusion that I never hurt.
Oh yeah.
There are times like it was about 6 months ago, I think I was in here, I was doing ball slams and I was in a hurry. I stopped the thought process. I just came down because I was trying to do it fast. And as soon as I got halfway up, I could feel, and I just dropped the ball.
Yep.
And so I'm done. Now, but the difference between now and back in the past was it would take, I knew. And so I stopped. But then also that instead of months of pain, months of this, a day or two of doing evaluating my body, the machine, evaluating the machine. Okay, this. A day or two later, I'm back to normal because the core that you guys have worked on, like from my core, making sure my mechanics are good. So I can do those things now still. And I do have pain, but the time that I have that pain is so much less than it ever was before.
Yeah. And I don't want to skip over the fact either that to feel good and feel that way, it takes action. And I think a lot of people will, like they're telling themselves these stories. I heard, I'm always going to hurt. And those stories that they tell themselves, what you focus on is what you get. So if you keep focusing on that, you're going to find that. But with you saw that ad, and it's scary. It's scary to come in here and go something that's out of your normal environment and to change habits and patterns and behaviors that you've always done. It's scary to get out of that. It's uncomfortable. but you taking that leap is what got you to where you're at here. And we didn't even touch on this, man, but like you came in with, a lot of back pain. You held the deadlift record in the gym for a while. Like you're trap bar deadlifting 400, almost 500 pounds. It's impressive, man. But it was all because you took the action and you took that uncomfortable step to feel better. And because of that, it rewarded you.
So somebody beat me. So now I gotta.
Yeah,
I'm
Shane.
not trying to.
Yeah. Shane had it was Danny. So, yeah.
Danny didn't count.
So when we've talked, man, you said you believe God uses the vitality mill to give you hope.
Yes.
That's a big statement. Kind of take me through what does that mean to you?
I mean, I'm a firm believer. I mean, I believe in Jesus and Christ is everything to me and my family. And that's my thought. I mean, to me, my witness and serving other people is the only reason that I'm actually here on earth. Maybe it's my kids. I'm first to them to serve them, my wife, and then my kids to serve them, and then serve people around me. And so when I walk into Vitality Meal, what I'm saying it uses, like God can heal.
Mm-hmm.
And he can heal instantaneously, he can do that. But God also uses other methods to do that. And so coming in here to the Vitality Meal, I see people who actually care and walk through the process. Not sensational things. We're talking like, this is how God made your body, this is how it is. And if it were just information that I were coming in for, if it were just workouts, that's great. And this place would provide that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more than that when I say God gave me hope here, because I started making friends here. I had a few people I knew, and then you guys. And so then it became a brotherhood of people that I know and other people I see out there. Because I sincerely, I want the absolute best for everybody that comes to this gym. I want them to succeed in everything they're trying to do.
That.
Whatever way that is, I want them to succeed.
Yeah.
But when I walk in here, there are days I don't want to work out. I don't want to do this. But that I know that there are people here who are cheering me on, who are praying for me. Actually, I know you guys are praying for me. So that's why God gave me hope in a place that, like, hey, it's not just a place you're going to work out. Because I don't like going to places by myself.
Yeah.
I'd rather not. But to come in a place that I feel like it's family when I walk in.
Yeah.
It's hope. This is where it comes. It's not just, and it wasn't just physical. Really, I think there's a bond meaning for brotherhood. Sometimes that you can't.
Yeah, God puts the right people in the right place at the right time. And so, I mean, that's been that's how Christians here, that's how we're all, like, as far as just and with that though, it still requires action.
Yes. Yeah.
So like with you, it's like, you could have leaned in and said like, hey, got it on my own. I'm going to figure this out on my own, not whatever. And it's just like, when you just go like, hey, I see this, let me just see what it's all about. And to just be interested in and explore, just be curious of what it is. And I think that more people would just be curious, what they would do is see that, one, we'll let you come in for a couple of weeks for 30 days and try it out and see if it's something. If you don't like it, and then we'll free you, because we know that we have something that's different. And then we know that when the individuals come in, one, you already said it, I know with Christian and Isaac is like, we're going to care for you on a whole nother level, and we're going to make it to where we care about your results just as much as you do. And so a lot of times you'll let yourself down and you'll not do the things that you know you need to do. But when you have other individuals that care about your results and you told them that you were going to do this, I'm going to show up on Wednesday, I'm going to plug my food in, I'm going to step on the scale and put it into the app. You tell someone else you're going to do it that cares about your results just as much as you do. What happens is you create that leverage and that accountability that you need. And a lot of individuals are doing the whole gym thing and the weight loss, the pain management, whatever it is, they're doing it on their own. And then next thing you know, that they don't follow through with those mobility exercises. They don't go for the walks. They don't do the things they need to do just because they don't have the other people's eyes on it. And so I think the other story is, and this is what I wanted to hit on, money. Like the money it's going to cost me. It's like, if Jeff could look back and look at the money that he spent, but then also look into the future, and we don't know the future, but I have a pretty good feeling that like he's going to be a grandpa that's active, that's able to do things, that's able to go on vacations with his whole family and be able to do the adventures and do those things. If you put a price tag on that, the price isn't even, but that's what we get focused on. It's like, oh, it's going to cost me a lot. But it's like, okay, well, what it's going to give you though?
Yeah. People could hear you talking about, I'm going to bounce off that. People could hear you talk about the money thing and be listening and kind of roll their eyes. But Jeff right now is probably in the most expensive season of his life. He's got 4 daughters, very close in age. They're all in college now.
Mm-hmm.
They've all graduated. 2 one's about to get married. One has already gotten married. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, colleges, weddings, all of those things for a lot of people. And I've had conversations with clients. They go, "Hey, bro, I got to cut this.
Yeah.
This is the first thing that I'm cutting."
Yep.
Dude, if you cut that, you couldn't be able to do the things that you needed to for your family, for your daughters. And so for you, what is the thing that kept you going, "Hey, this is a non-negotiable. I've got to be able to still do this, and I'll still trust in God and still find a way to be able to take care of everything else."
What solidified it for me that yes, we're going to keep doing this is, because everything Dana and I do is a discussion with each other because it's our money.
Yeah.
And so I sat down with her after that first year, but it came time to renew. And I said, "Sweetie, I knew it's expensive, more expensive and there are cheaper places I could go.
Mhm.
But what are your thoughts?" And she goes, "You need to sign back up with them." She said, "Because,
We love you, Dana.
yeah, because, she was like, "You need to do this because she goes, I see the difference between what you were and
That's
what you are right now.
yeah.
With your physical, you can do these things. They're keeping you accountable. You're right here.
Yeah.
She goes, you can go do those other things. Yeah, you're right. And if you have to, you can. But she goes, we can find a way." And what she said is, "Oh, well, let's find a way."
Yeah. And that's the power of, I can speak for myself and I can speak for Christian and with Jeff as well. That's the power of having a spouse that wants the best for you and sees the bigger picture. At the same time, will push you to where Jeff could easily been, his servant side of himself and look into the future and go like, well, I'm going to put myself on the side. And even though I've seen results and I feel better, I've learned a little bit. So I'll just do it on my own kind of a deal. And then having someone who will say, "No, you need to do this," because they've seen how much it impacts you. I think that's a big piece of it, as well as having, because I see it all the time where I get spouses that come in that's like, well, they'll sign up and then they'll go home and the other spouse will be like, "You need to call them back and cancel that. Like, you can't do that." And it's just like, I couldn't imagine like my wife wanting to improve and wanting to get better physically, wanting to do something that's going to, that, and then going, "Nope, can't do that. Sorry, money's more important here." And I get it too, that I get the money's a peach and stuff, but I think that it was Michael Landing that said, "Where there's a will, there's a way." Remember that commercial? It's like, where there's a will, there's a way. And if you want to do it, God will open the doors to figure out how to get through it. But if it's aligned with what he wants, and he wants us to be, like I say it all the time, he's given us dominion over every area of our life. He wants us to steward what we have and be able to pour into others. And the more you feel better, that impacts every other area of your life. It impacts how you show up for your kids, how you show up for Dana, how you show up in your career, how you show up across the board in the church, everything that you do. So, yeah.
You can go to a place that has equipment, and be able to do things. You can look up exercises online. There's been times that we've done stuff, and I told Christian when I did that one challenge, I said I put in all the details of myself. I want to get to this, and I to chat, and it spit out. And I was like, "Hey," and I showed it to Christian. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, buddy, this is almost exactly what you told me to
Yeah.
do." Only confirming to me, that this is the right track. This guy, and you guys, you do your work.
Yeah.
And so anybody can go to some place.
The information's out there.
Yeah.
And I would rather somebody at least do something.
Yeah.
But the fact that we come in here is not just equipment that you guys are providing. You're paying for more than just equipment. Paying for people who are going to watch you. I tell people all the time when they ask, "Where do you go?" I say, I go by telling them, I say, it's for people 40 and over, even though you guys still, work with people younger.
Yeah.
I said, but 40 and over, I said, it's the right gym for you when you walk in that day, say, "What's hurting today?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
And because then they care, and it's like, okay, well, your shoulder's giving you a little problem right now. Well, let's not exasperate that.
Yeah.
Let's do something else.
That's the first question is like, how do you feel today? And so is if you don't feel good, then what we can do is we'll drill you deeper and deeper into a hole if you're like didn't get good sleep, and then we're trying to put an intense workout on you or whatever it may be. I think the other piece of it is our client, you're not paying us for the visit. You're paying us for results. And that's the difference between what the Vitality Meal does and another class or what boot camp or whatever, as far as that stuff goes. Is like, "Oh, I bought 24 sessions." And it's like, yeah, you bought 24 sessions, but what we're trying to do is actually get you a result that will last you long term. That, like you talked about with your daughters going through college, I take this as like, this is a college class that you can build new skill sets and a mindset that, like, when we're whatever happens with the Vitality Mill in the future or whatever, you're 70, 80 years old and going to a gym or whatever it may be, you're able to do the things because you've got that mind body connection. We've taught you the right ways to do it, and you've done it the right way that you can get those results as whenever you want because now you know how to do it, kind of deal.
Right. And here, one thing I do love is, I mean, you're not going to come in you're not going to come in and see like a gym bro type of deal I mean, you're not
Yeah.
having people that, I mean, like what you're seeing is people, the difference here is it's not all about aesthetics. It's about functionality.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do things as we get older here. I'm 50 now and I do things. I see my friends, some of my friends and people that are 50 that they can't, do certain things. And I want to be able to, I see the inspiration I get from some of these people that are here are 60, 70 years old that come in. I'm like, I want to be able to do that when I'm, 60, 70 years old. I want to be able to do what they're doing, and so.
For sure. And speaking on results, we're always trying to find ways to push you guys to be better and create avenues for that. And this is the second year that we've done it, our annual DEXA scan that we do, the 90-day challenge. And, after a while, what's new becomes normal and what's normal becomes numb. And so you signed up with us and you were in that time, 2020, you're motivated, I'm gonna track everything, I'm gonna eat my protein, and you're dialed in. But then over time, life hits, things happen, your focus starts to shift a little bit. And so you ended up taking action and you're like, Christian, I want to drop some body fat. I want to put on some muscle. I'm going to invest into this challenge. And this is, 6 years into being with us. And man, you invested into that challenge and you won that challenge. You lost the most body fat percentage and gained the most muscle mass combined from all the guys. And man, just speak on that. What made you, after a while, go, I'm going to take action on this and invest into myself to do this challenge? And I know we had that conversation the day of.
Yeah. I even told you, I was like, I don't know. It's not about winning.
Yeah.
Whatever. I was like, I got to do something because I didn't realize.
Get that money back.
But I sometimes, you guys maybe haven't. Some people know what I mean, but you ever know that your checking account is low, so you just don't look at it?
Yeah,
Because if I don't look at it,
20 years being in business.
it's not real. Exactly. You just don't look at it. I don't want to look at it because then it's not real.
No.
So I knew in my head that I'd gained it wasn't horrible, but I gained some body fat. I gained some weight. I wasn't where I thought it would. I kept telling myself I was a certain weight, but I just wouldn't pull the scale out. I'm not going to look.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's water weight. I'm sure, all the stuff. But then when that came around, I was like, no, my daughter's wedding's coming up. I want to make sure, and I need to do something. I get to tell something. And it was just little things I was making choices of,
And we had a talk too about the DEXA scan. I told you the benefits. Hey, yes, it's going to tell you your body fat percentage. It's going to tell you your visceral fat. It's going to tell you your bone density. So there's a lot of data that, yes, we could easily put on the blinders and cover our eyes and not look. And that was the scary part. You're like, man, I don't know if I want to necessarily know. I'm like, man, if what we don't know, we can't change. And so you took action. And
that's the majority of men. They don't want to get to the facts. And then, so like we lean on our feelings. And so like what you just were talking about, it's like, I feel like I'm at 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, and so it's like, okay, well, if you feel that way, then the focus that you have, continue to do what you do. And then that's going to get you the different fruit, different result. But once you get to the facts, then you can see, that's why I do my blood work every month. I've got a company I go through where it's just, a monthly fee and they send it to me. But it's, I can look at and go like, okay, well, this number's here. Let me change some things over the next month and just see what that does. And so our minds are happiest when we see progress and stuff. But so many individuals don't want to just get to the facts. But once you get to the facts, it starts to, then everything changes because now you can look at your feelings and go like, okay, well, I'm like where I'm at. The facts are great. I need to continue to do what I'm doing, or I don't like. And that's what with you saw some things probably that were like, yeah, I don't really like that being heavier than that. I want to drop this. I want to do this. And so the decisions you make now are aligned with your feelings of like, well, I don't want to feel this way. So my focus needs to be more on cutting out those snacks here and there and running to the store and grabbing this or whatever it may be. It gives you a different result.
One of the things that when I did that DEXA scan, one of the things that worried me was, and I would have no idea. Yes, I mean the visceral fat, I guess, was high. And again, I mean, I've never felt like I was horribly out of shape. Like I'd never be like, oh yeah, I was way out of shape.
Yeah.
But he showed me the visceral fat. And he's like, this is getting concerning. Like I can't remember. It was like
Yeah.
something like that
Yeah.
around the visceral fat. And I was like, what does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, when it gets above this, we get a little concerned because that's
The fat around your organs.
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, wow. But just doing the challenge and sticking to stuff, then we got way down on that and back into a green zone.
Yeah.
That made me
In 90 days too. If
Yeah,
you just
90
being intentional about it, and it just shows, how quick you can make that
Yeah.
shift and get back on track.
It all adds up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeff, you're a super humble guy, so you wouldn't say this, man, but you are genuinely one of the, I say it all the time, you're one of the most encouraging, nicest guys that I've ever met. Me and Brett talk about it too. But where does that come from? Was it how you were raised? Was it you being the man of God that you are? Where does that encourage, man, you're all the time, you don't even know somebody. It could be their second day and you'll go, good job. Almost like you're a coach in there, but you're just super encouraging and just, man, some clients, we will get newer people and until they get comfortable, sometimes that energy can suck the life out of a coach and a trainer, and you try to meet them where they're at. But man, whenever you come into the gym, I know I'm about to be uplifted. I'm going to have a better day because I'm around Jeff. So where does that come from, man?
Well, first of all, I would have better days if you guys didn't make me do leg exercises. So that would be great.
Yeah, you do have some pushback on that. We have to have conversations about. But
You like that less back pain?
that's where we throw jabs back at him.
Shut up and squat.
Would you like to hurt some more?
Yeah.
Shut up and RDL.
I don't know. I wouldn't say anything comes from me. I feel overwhelmed sometimes with I want everybody to feel loved the way I think God loves me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unconditional as far as that I love you and I want the best for you. So that means that I love you and maybe there's some things we need to do and change. But when I see people in here, I see somebody that is coming in and doing the work to change. And I know that discouragement that can happen sometimes to people when you start and maybe you're not seeing the results you think, or you come in, it's scary to come into a new gym or to a new place. And if I can be that one person or somebody that, lift somebody up that day that they feel, if somebody can I grew up with Mr. Rogers. I grew up with Mr. Rogers.
Me too.
I grew up with, Jesus. And there was never an episode.
That's why I like Cargan so much.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If you ever watched Mr. Rogers, you never left there wondering if you were a special person. And so it's kind of felt like a goal of mine. I mean, my mom and dad always encourage us to, serve other people, but my goal has always been, I want to be that person that when people meet me, that they walk away feeling better, not that even if I have a conflict with them, that they still walk away knowing that I actually care about them still.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to be that person. I want to be that quote, Mr. Rogers to people that, that they feel loved and appreciated. And that when I walk in a room, I make it better, not worse.
Yeah. So one of the things you said, and we talked about that today in our Bible study, one of the things you just said is this kind of the same thing that I think about with Reg is like you showing up and regardless of your problems, regardless of your emotions of the day, regardless of the how you feel, you're always showing up and it's almost like you're walking into the, like Notre Dame when they walk onto the field, they'll slap, be a champion today, right? And it's almost like you walk in, and when you walk in, you hit the you tap it and you bring the energy. And I think about like how many people that you were able to do that for that maybe were just starting out, that they saw that light in you, and then it's like, oh, this is actually a pretty cool place. It's like because and it made them come back, and it made them continue to show up, and that they're a member now, and they're part of our family now, that they did continue to show up just because you brought that. Because the Christian said there are people that come in here and we get rid of. Like
that's why we gatekeep.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're negative and you're not going to, all you're going to do is complain and stuff, you're going to bring the energy down. And once you do that,
most people don't want to stay.
Yeah,
either.
Yeah, and it's going to just be transparent. It might be individuals with us talking about our relationship with Christ that it's going to, and I'm cool with that. Like if it's like, I'm good. We're going to be and we're going to serve and we're going to take care of people and we're going to help and things like that. And if you don't agree with what we do things, then that's like kind of talking about that middle of the funnel. That just eliminates those individuals. Like this, probably not your place. But if it is something that you're looking for and you're wanting to get better and you're wanting to have a solid foundation and you're wanting to build relationships, but more importantly on all of that is you want to get results, then the Vitality Mill is probably your place. And I would just have you, like, I don't know if we're ending this right now, but it feels like we are. if it is one of those things that you are on the fence and you're just not sure, the reason why we do some of the things that we do inside the Vitality Mill, like Stretch You, for example, it may be that you're dealing with pain and you're struggling right now and you don't think that working out is for you, then we can point you over towards the Stretch You, and we can get you in there where we help individuals get to the root of their pain. And then by doing that, now you start to get some relief, and then it starts to flow into now you can be able to work out and stuff. So a lot of people will call and go like, well, your prices, you don't have any prices on this and on that. And it's like, if you judge us just by the price, and you look at Planet Fitness, $9.99 or whatever it is, and then you look at the Vitality Mill and you compare us to $9.99, that's not fair to you. Like, we're doing you a disservice because you're never going to get to experience what Jeff got to experience and be able to see, like, step in and go like, now look at all I can do. Look at all that I've been able to show up for and make an impact on. And so that's what I would just, if speaking to that person right now that may be watching this, that knows that you need to do something, kind of like Jeff was talking about with like putting your hands over your eyes and don't want to look at the numbers as far as that goes, it's just like rip that Band-Aid off and know that you're in the right place. And maybe I'm speaking directly to you, or maybe something Jeff or Christian said speaks directly to you right now, that take that leap and let's just see what happens. And that's the thing, is we're not going to lock you into a long-term contract. You're looking at the dude that makes the decisions on all that stuff. And like, I think Jeff will testify to this too, is I've worked with you. We've worked with you. Like, it might be that, hey, I can't do all this right now, but I can make a couple payments or do this. And like, we will work with you to make it happen if you want to be here. But a lot of people just don't want, if you don't ask, you don't receive.
They need to have a conversation though. That's the
yeah. Just say like, cause like that's what, and I say some outlandish things and people can have all kinds of judgments on me, but by my heart and how much I care, there's not going to be anybody that can say any different. And that's one of the things I've made a clear, like, I'm going to make an impact on everybody that steps in, regardless if they like me or not. They're going to know that, like, and those guys at the Vitality Mill really did care about me, and I should be there.
Yeah, one of the things I always say about the Vitality Mill is once you've experienced it, you can't unexperience it. Right. And so that's why I want to close it out and pass it over to Jeff. From your experience, someone was who you are 6 years ago, afraid to make that decision, somebody that could be listening or watching this right now, and they're just unsure if they want to take that leap. What would you tell them?
Take the leap, because again, hope was the biggest thing that was missing. So I think that's where people give up, when they lose hope. And I promise you, if you come in here, just take the step. It can seem overwhelming at first, but take the step, because you will find hope. I promise. If you work for it, you have to do that. You have to put in the work. If you work for it, you will find hope, but you also find family that's here. Like I said, 6 years, I've been here a long time, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. It's just like, but stay involved. Come here, just try it.
That's the thing, is I think is like you said, have hope, but a lot of times it's just show up.
Yes.
Just show up and we'll figure it out. I mean, there's the people who've walked in here that I've looked at and gone like, I don't know how we're going to be able to do this. And like, and then, but again, the right people in the right place, the right time. And then we work through it. And it may be that they're walking on a cane and they barely do the little basic things, but it's a lot to them and it pushes them. And then like, I think about that, like Andrea, like walking in, like, the first time she walked in, and it's like she had severe sciatica like Jeff, but she wasn't moving. She was sitting at a desk and she was doing all these things that weren't serving her as far as helping with the sciatica. And she comes in and she's on a cane. And then like 3 weeks later, I swear to you, like 3 weeks later, she's walking in with no cane, and she's working on her mom's garden and stuff. And like, she's able to start doing things that she loves to do again. And so there may be something that's been taken away from you that you're not able to do anymore. And on the other side of you just walking through the door and experiencing and being curious of what it is that we do here, it could open up that next door for you, that you can start to get back to living the life that you love again. And that's ultimately what we want to help you do here at the Vitality Mill. And we've got a great, I've surrounded myself with awesome individuals from Christian and Isaac, but from also Jeff and you name them. We got hundreds of clients that it's like a family, and it's like, we're not going for thousands of clients. That's not what we're going for. When you walk in, sometimes it looks like we're not even in business. You can drive by every once in a while and be like, is that place open? But that's why we created it like that, is that we didn't want to have thousands of individuals. We wanted to have those 20% that need our help and that are going to show up and just be curious. And so it's worked so far. So I appreciate both of you guys.
And don't get discouraged though. Also, when you start coming in, especially I'm going to preach anybody that's sciatica. I mean, it feels like you can't go away. You can't get away from it, but don't get discouraged if like a week or 2 weeks, but it will get better.
Yeah.
You come in and they help you strengthen the things around it. And then, like you said, she came in without the cane then. And I do want to add one more thing.
Yeah, man.
I don't think you guys realize how influential you are. You guys are very open. Like you guys love family too. And a couple times a couple of my daughters have come in before Jesse, and that girl now, because it came in here and learned different stuff and saw some of the stuff you guys are doing, she's now going through school to become an athletic trainer. That's what she wants to do. She's passionate about that. And she got to assist with the OSU women's basketball team this last year. And she's doing all these things now, I think, large part because this is where she got introduced to working out, lifting weights and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Anytime we have conversations like this, it's just a reminder of how grateful I am for Seth, for all of you guys at the Vitality Mill, and just this place. So we love you, man. We appreciate you, and thank you for taking some time to hop on this with us. It's going to impact somebody.
Be awesome.
Yeah. So for another episode Inside the Mill podcast, see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, man.